Hello friends, welcome back to the channel Techno49. I hope everyone is safe. In my last video, I talked about client billing model with the help of production hour. If you haven't seen that video, please try to watch that. That will definitely help you to increase your knowledge when it comes to how a call center can bill the client on the basis of production hour. So the production hour means that the productive hour that has been given by the agents while assisting the customers. It does not include any kind of auxes. It's like your break, any meetings, training, or any offline activities. These will not be a part of production hours. So please try to watch that video. In today's video, we'll talk about client billing per call per transaction. Per call for inbound and the outbound call center, and the transaction can be meant for email or the chat process. So this method of billing means that a company is paid by number of calls completed, inbound and outbound calls, depending on call center capabilities and contract with client. It completely depends on how many calls a call center is taking on a daily basis or in a monthly wise. So that can be billed to the client. It depends on the kind of calls the call center is taking. Inbound calls, in which the call center are getting calls. Outbound calls, the call centers are making outbound calls on the basis of data that has been provided by the client. So all these calls would be billed to the client. And apart from that, we have the chat and the email also. So these things and these kind of channels, with the help of how many contacts have been handling by the call center, can be billed to the client on a monthly basis. So all these things are validated by the client also, like the call centers are having genuine calls. It's not like that they are just handling high number of calls and compromising on the other key metrics. It could be your net promoter score, customer satisfaction, HD. So all these things has to have some balance in regards to performing good, and try to ensure that the client should not be penalized call center for not meeting other KPIs which are important along with the number of calls a call center is taking. So now let's talk about, with the help of example, we will try to understand that the ABC program bills its client on a pay per call basis. Call volume for today predict. Suppose we have 100 agents staffed and 600 seconds average handle time. 45 calls completed by each agent, and for one call the client is paying $1. So the total revenue for 100 agents, if they take 45 calls each, would be $4,500. So your 100 agents on an average, if they take 4,500 calls, so the revenue would be $4,500. So the call center should aim for handling high number of calls without compromising on the key metrics what I have just discussed previously. It could be your NPS, Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction, AHT, and other quality metrics. So the call center has to have some kind of balance to ensure that everything should be in sync with number of calls handling and the other KPIs. So by that way, the call center would be in a position to make more profit from the client, and the client would also think of giving more business to the call center. So all these things are very important. So after that, we will get to know that how we can improve that, how the call center can have maximum number of calls to be taken. So what are the steps we need to ensure that, and how we can improve that. So now let's talk about that. Forecasting and scheduling are critical components for per call bill programs. If we overstaff, occupancy falls, and because we can only bill the client for completed calls, our profitability falls. In overstaffing situation, the voluntary go home process should be utilized. So the forecasting and the scheduling is very important while predicting the call volume for the future, like what kind of workload a call center is predicting on the basis of historical data they have analyzed, or the forecast they have generated on their own, or the forecast that has been given by the client. If the call center overstaff, so the occupancy would be less. It means that the high number of agents would be sitting idle, and it's a kind of cost to the company because the agents are not productive, and in that scenario the call center would be running into losses. Call center can only bill the client for the completed calls. So the less number of calls means that higher loss for the call center. In overstaffing situation, if you think that due to any XYZ reason the call volume is not like what the call center has predicted, so the voluntary go home process should be utilized. Generally that happens for the onshore sites, not at India sites. This is not happening at the India sites because in India the agents are getting paid for full day, 8 hours, 9 hours, but that's not the case in onshore. So in that scenario, if the staffing is over and the call volume is not up to that mark, so the agents can go home as a voluntary go home process. So that's the kind of case they also have. They can utilize to ensure that the call center should not pay for the services. The call center agents are sitting idle. I have already made video on the occupancy, so if you haven't seen that video, you can just try to go and check it out to get some more information about occupancy, and that will definitely help you. Apart from the occupancy, I have made videos on the forecasting and scheduling also, that will also help you to gauge your understanding, like what kind of steps you need to have for the forecasting, scheduling, and the occupancy. Now let's talk about if we are understaffed. Occupancy would be higher. It means agents would be getting back-to-back calls without having some avail time in between calls. Key metrics like NPSCs and AHD would be having impact. That we talked about, if the occupancy is lesser, the agents would be sitting idle. So it's a kind of cost to the company. Now the situation is different. If the call center is understaffed, occupancy would be higher. It means that the agents would be getting back-to-back calls and they will not have enough, or you can say the sufficient time to complete the notes or to have some break. So they would be getting back-to-back calls. So in that case, what can happen? The key metrics like your net promoter score, customer satisfaction, HD can have a hit because the customers would be calling back-to-back, and on the other sides, the agents would be avoiding calls by extending their calls. The HD would be higher, the call work would be higher, hold time would be higher. So these things will have negative impact on the agents, and the agents will try to avoid calls by different kind of methods they can use, and it will also have impact on the net promoter score, customer satisfaction. The reason being that because the customer would be waiting on the line and the calls would not be answered as soon as possible, so the customer would be giving negative survey to the agents, to the company, and this kind of very bad sign for the call center, and no call center wants its customer to wait on the line for a longer period of time. So the call center would not be able to thrive in this challenging market. So all these things are very important. So I hope you like this video. If you have any kind of questions, you can just mention in the comment section. I'll continue with the billing model in my next video with per minute. So thank you so much again for watching this video. So I'm trying my best to ensure that I'm just making all the videos in a very simplified manner. So please subscribe to the channel Techno49, share this video because that is completely free, and thank you so much again for the support which I have been getting, like in all the videos what I'm uploading. So thank you so much again for watching this video.